Amigos y amigas, it's Monday Night Football. We like to call it here the Mexican Soccer Show. Welcome to another hour-long podcast dedicated to all things Mexican football, Mexican soccer. We're going to jump right in, heading into the top of the hour. We'll start with our wonderful question of the night. Now that we know that all the rankings and all of the teams are going to be in the playoffs in the Liguilla, who do you think will be crowned champions now that everything is in set and we can see at least out of the 8 teams? And we'll start with Mr. Cesar Hernandez, hablando de Tijuana, San Diego area. Always there. Mr. Cesar, how's it going? And who's going to be your winner?
Doing well. I think let's see. I'm gonna choose Veracruz, right? Los Tigres. Los Tigres team, Mexico's first fish. I'm kidding. The easy answer. It's Tigres. I think there's something to be said about momentum heading into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at everyone's last 3 games, Tigres have been the best size. I'm sticking with Tigres right there. It's the easy answer. I know it's not that exciting, but I'm sticking with Tigres.
All right, Tigres is in. I think you can go back and. I think I've always it's like the answer that everybody gives right before the Liguilla starts, especially when it comes in with Tigres coming in, and 50% of the time it's happened in the last 4 years. So when you pick it, so all right, we'll see how it is. Scotty joining us again in the Mexican Soccer Show in Dallas, Texas, right? Dallas, yes,
sir. Right? Dallas, Texas, Triple D.
Why is it called Triple D? All right, we'll get.
Did Guy Fieri name Dallas, Texas?
Is that?
Sounds like it on one of his episodes. He did come by, so.
All right. You know her from Food Mex Nation, does great videos every week on the video, the game of the week, and also is one of the only people that called out Mexico beating Germany. We're going to go ahead and give you that title for a very, very long time until someone else calls even a bigger feat. Gotti, thank you for coming on the show. And amazing jersey collections you have in the back. Let's see. I see Leon, Irvin Lozano, and Leon, and the Mexico jersey, and then the black Mexico jersey. So you already see the alliances that I
went Mexican tonight.
You went Mexican. And then you went with Leon, too. So we'll talk about it. We could just have like the Boselli drama show today because you and I are on the show. So the only Leon fans are out there.
Agreed.
Cesar had to come in and talk
I'm
about
sorry. We could talk about the earthquakes. I got an earthquakes. I'm sure everyone here in Mexican Soccer wants to talk about the San Jose earthquakes.
The San Jose. There's at least there's some kind of Mexico connection in there. So
yeah.
Gotti, you see the Liguilla. You're pretty great predictions. Let's see it. Who's going to be the winner in your eyes?
Well, thank you guys for the invite. I'm very excited to be back with you too. I had a good streak going on with my videos. I had 7 right games, and then it went downhill. So for La Liguilla, I'm going to go with Cruz Azul. I think it's finally their year. I think I've said multiple times for those who have listened to me, they did a good job reinforcing the summer, getting the players already established Liga MX, and it showed. They have a good compact squad. So it's their first time back in La Liguilla in so many years, so I'm kind of eager to see how that goes. And I think depending on if they make it a quarter, semis, final, wherever they land, I think it's already a great achievement for them. I know everybody's going to be like, oh, no, but I think it's an achievement for them, and I think we should applaud. And it's just a project that's a long-term project, and we're definitely going to see results more in the future. So I'm going to go with Cruz Azul.
Going with Cruz Azul. I think it's a great choice. It's bold, right, because of the history of Cruz Azul. But Cruz Azul now with already at least the pressure of winning a tournament with the Copa MX. I like your pick. On as far as Twitter, and I'll give my answer in a bit. We saw some Santos in there. Tell us. We'll continue to read your predictions. So if you're listening to us and go on the Twitter and reply to the Mexican Soccer Show. We'll read off who you you think will win the Liguilla. I think it's gonna be some good. I'm excited for this Liguilla. For me, I'm gonna go with America. I've said it. They've been at the top of the tournament. They look good. I think they've been favored almost every game, and they might have lost because. Obviously, if they made some mistakes, but I feel that you have your Tigres with Ginac and the scoring there and the way they've closed down. Santos doing a good job, Cruz Azul, but I I'm seeing America just kind of take it about a year, and the rivalry between America and Cruz Azul will keep growing. Could we see, just like the drama that unfolded a few years back? So it's also the pressure. I think Piojo, if he doesn't win, I think, or if he doesn't do well in this Liguilla, I think there's also be some problems there with the leadership of the team. So I'm going with America winning, and we'll see where this goes into it. Joining us right on cue, we planned it perfectly, is also Amy Lopez, who's worked here with the Mexican Soccer Show, also with Blue Mex Nation. And we're going to be talking a little bit more with her on a couple of things. But first, Amy, to put you on the spot, since you came in right away on our introductions. Who do you think is going to win the Liguilla?
What did everybody else say?
I said Querétaro. Cari said Leon. Wiso said the LA Galaxy.
Great choices. I don't know. I think it's because Moises Munoz put a tweet like right before this all started. I'd like to see a Cruz Azul America game with America winning again, like they did, but like 5 years ago.
I can't believe you said that. So.
That was in 2013.
What a bad prediction.
That was on my birthday. It was awesome.
So look, Amy didn't know, and you and I picked the same team, Amy. So looks like let's see what America.
Oh, now I have to change my answer. Never mind.
Change it, because it's gonna be then you're gonna get mad when America does win, and you changed it. And you could have been you could have been a winner with me, but no.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's kind of if from the international break and what happened with Mexico and playing, and we'll get to that in a minute, kind of just a recap what we have now. Kind of the Liguilla sets in, and this is where I get started. If I'm all about the playoffs and Liga MX and the drama, so it's a lot of fun right now. All right, saying hello to everybody on the Mexican Soccer Show chat. We got Ociel Gutierrez, Eric Sanchez, who's telling El Toro, says, "What are we waiting for, Wiso?"
It was me.
Oh, Carlos Columna Navarro.
It was me. They're waiting on me.
Ociel already saying Cari knows what she's saying and saying let's go, Cari. Eric Sanchez. Eric saying that Amy just looked like she woke up from a nap. So
excuse me, I just got back from picking up my children and then putting them somewhere where they will be quiet. That's what I'm dealing with right now, okay?
Eric Sanchez, you've been banned forever. I'm sorry. You'll have to return your Mexican Soccer Show membership card.
The M guy does say Santos. A lot of you guys are saying Santos, and saying hi to Lou. Hello, I have arrived. So thank you for arriving, Mr. Lou. So we'll be there, guys. It's gonna be a very, very fun show. I think this is one of the first times that Amy and Cari have been on the show with Cesar and I don't think we've had this, so we're gonna have a lot of fun. Mr. Tom Marshall is traveling. I believe he's still in Argentina. I don't know if he was trying to stay for the Boca River game and it keeps getting postponed. Feel bad for all the journalists or all the fans or anybody that went to go over there and all the craziness that's been happening between the games. And I definitely been waking up every day. I'm like, all right, is it going to be today? Because a Libertadores final between probably the two most hated teams that hate each other and the rivalry, I would think in any sport. I don't know. So if you guys
also just think it's a British thing. They take like serious vacations. Sometimes Tom will be like, "Oh, I'm going to go on vacation." I was like, "Oh, when are you going to be back?" He's like, "Yeah, a month." It's like, "What?" So I think maybe that's what's going on in Argentina. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take a short trip down." He's going to be back in like February.
The wealth. Look at that wealth. Must be nice.
I go on vacation like 2 days to LA, and I'm like looking at my checking account.
Yeah, so we'll see what time's at. I know she was supposed to jump on, but she couldn't. So it is just us, and we're going to be talking a lot about mostly the Liguilla. We'll touch that a little later, but we want to make sure we get the reactions from the Mexico games that we just obviously Argentina-Mexico played in the Argentina-Mexico 2.0 with the 2-0 that we saw. But first, want to head and talk about the historic win. Sub-17 youth ladies make history in the quarterfinals of the Sub-17 World Cup. And who better to kind of give us a little wrap up on what happened? If you guys were watching a great PK shootout with amazing performance from our keeper, definitely something to look forward to. And now kind of exciting that kind of keeps us as far as the World Cup with Sub-17. Can you imagine if the men's team won in 2007 and in 2011, and then now the women's team, in that sense, I know it may not translate to much, but at the same time, I think it's exciting. So we're going to go with Amy and Kadio to talk just a little bit about it. But Amy, I know you kind of joined us and you have to leave off, but I wanted to give give you the floor to talk a little bit about this historic win.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Aside from the penalty shootout that it eventually went to, the game itself was just absolutely exciting. You know, it started off where Mexico was dominating a lot in the first half. No goals were scored during the first half. And then the second half, like right away, Ghana just scores their first goal. Bad defending from Mexico, in my opinion. Even in the first half, there was a moment where my little gooner, Silvana Flores, she got injured, or the ball hit her like really badly in the stomach, and she had to come out for a little bit. And I mean, Ghana started the game the way that they wanted to, or Ghana restarted the game as fast as they wanted to, obviously, to have the advantage. Some of the Mexico players weren't in agreement with it, but I think that kind of took them off their game for a second, and then it kind of just stayed like that for the rest of the first half. So then there were no goals in the first half. Ghana scored like right off of the bat in the second half. Mexico came back and scored off a PK, and then Ghana scored again from a substitute, from a sub that came in like 2 minutes before that, and then honestly, that's one. I know she's under 17 and everything, but that's honestly one of the best free kicks that I've ever seen. Like late into the game, I think it was like the 82nd minute or something. I can't remember exactly what time it was, but it was just like an amazing free kick that she scored.
That free kick was better than like the 180 minutes I saw for the men's side against Argentina. Let's just say that.
It's just. I even went to go check the highlights like after the game because I'm writing something right now, and it was just such a good goal. Like I was like, man, imagine that feeling. And she's so young too, so like her career is barely starting. So like to score that young and have such an important game, it was great. And so obviously, for this World Cup, they don't go to extra time; they go straight to PKs. So 2-2 regular time. They go to the penalty shootout, and then Heidi Gutierrez is just the hero of the match. She saves 2 goals. All the Mexico players score their goals, and then they advance. And it was just, I even made note of it. 3 of the 4 players that scored their goals are Liga MX Femenil players, and then Heidi Gutierrez, which is the goalkeeper. She plays for America. So, I mean, if anybody was doubting whether or not the league is working, it seems like it is. You know, yeah. We talked about it on the podcast over the weekend. You know, they don't seem to be scared. They seem to have all the practice and all the games that they've played with their regular club teams. It seems to have translated when they go to the national team. And I mean, now they've made history, and I think it was great. Like it was in the morning and everything, and I was just like, I felt excited. Like I just walked around for a little bit, just pacing in my house. Like, wow, they made it to the semifinals and stuff. So they faced Canada for the semifinal, and that's on Wednesday. So if anybody has a chance to watch it, I highly recommend you watch it. I recommended you watching the quarterfinals, and I don't know how many people listen to me, but I recommend watching the semifinals.
Well, I think people go for exciting football, and this is exciting football. And although you could, see that's under 17, and whether the guys or the girls, it's still fun to see, and you see cracks just like that free kick that we see towards the end, and then going to PKs. Too bad for the Ghana players, because it looks like they were going to win, and then all of a sudden they got stolen. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see that. Question, and this is just kind of in there. Obviously, the U.S. is always a powerhouse. Were they in this World Cup? And maybe I just didn't see. Did they get eliminated earlier?
Yeah, they got eliminated during the group stage matches, and there was a few discussions on Twitter and stuff about. I think this isn't the first time they've gotten, for the U17 level anyway, where they've been eliminated.
Do they not take it to the group stage? Do you see not players that are underneath? Is that that's something? And not just as a curiosity, since they're a huge powerhouse. I would think, in all levels of the women's game, they'd be a powerhouse.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how much. I don't have as much information about the U.S. side, but I do know that in terms of what I saw online and stuff for them being eliminated, it wasn't aside from all of the stuff that U.S. soccer is dealing with right now. It just added more fuel to the fire. So, I mean, they're out, but
let's all cheer for the U17 side. That's going to be historic if they make it past the semifinal stage. And how great would it be? I know it was not the greatest of summers for women's soccer in Mexico, missing the World Cup, and I think at least a lift, because I think that's definitely needed for the following. We've seen the the Liga MX Femenil, and the following in that, and I think it'll just be great for the sport.
Yeah, because after the failure of the senior women's team to qualify for the next World Cup, which still kind of hurts, as a Mexico fan. This is fantastic news. It obviously doesn't redeem it completely, but when you look at the roster and you see that, I mean, Amy said right there that a few of those players who play in Liga MX Femenil had a crucial role in that match. I mean, 12 of the 21 players registered with that national team are registered with a Liga MX Femenil team. And also, you got to give credit to Monica Vergara for this historic run to the manager.
Not related to the Vergaras, are they? Does anybody know?
What was that?
Are they related to the Vergaras, the Chivas Vergaras? I'm just throwing out.
Who knows? I feel like there would already be an article about that. There would be some sort of like.
Yeah. Well, the Cuellar is related to the Cuellars, so like I'm just like I know it runs in the same field of people. I don't know.
Could be.
It's funny. I just assume cousins. Everybody's related to each other because every time.
Yeah. That you're talking about.
Yeah, like every time before we record, I ask Adriana like, "Hey, is so and so related to so and so because they have the same last name?" And she's like, I don't think so. I just assume everybody's related to each other.
Well, we all know that Chicharito's my older brother, so I mean,
naturally,
of
course,
it's obvious. Yeah.
Okay, me and Gallito hang out all the time.
we've disowned trophies from the Lopez clan, but I mean he can do what he wants.
I love trophies. Don't go there. Don't go there, Amy.
How dare you talk about your brother like that, Amy? But on a serious note, I think talk about Vergara. I think she's done a fantastic job. But I thought was kind of impressive too was that there was a quote that came out after the match. I mean, historic for Mexico. It's incredible. And she said, "We haven't accomplished our goal yet," which kind of, I kind of took a step back when I saw that. And I think that says a lot about that ambition from the national side. And like Amy was saying about how this team isn't playing with fear. And I think you see that from not only their experience at Liga Femenil, but just how well they've done this tournament. And against this Ghanaian side, that they were the favorites against Mexico. They were first place in Group A. Mexico sneaked into the knockout round as a second place in Group B. So I think you got to give a lot of credit to not only the girls on the team, but also to Vergara as a manager. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's like a common theme, right? Mentally they check out if like a challenge is too big for them to try to overcome. And I mean, they came back. They were losing 1-0, they scored a goal. They were losing 2-1, they scored a goal. And then PK is probably, the most nervous a player can get, penalty shootout, and they stepped up. So I think mentally you're seeing it. I think on the field you're seeing it. They're very young, right? They're still young, so there's still a lot of time left in their careers to see how they're going to go. But for the most part, for them starting, they're doing really well.
Well, and the fact, I mean, when I was looking at the PKs, I did get to see, I watched the PK shootout, and the PKs were great. I mean, these were like in the corner. You can get, Navas couldn't stop one of the kicks that was right in the corner. I was looking at that. And I think the last PK, it was just on the bottom on the left from the keeper, kind of like, that picardia that we see sometimes. She's like, I'm going to make this and you're not going to stop. And I think they were all to the right of the keeper. And when I was seeing that. So just awesome display. I think always, continue to support the ladies, and especially in the World Cup. I think it's going to be great. Hopefully, we're all going to be watching and they're able to go. And how great would it be even if they make a final, and into that and to have that. So cool. Thank you so much, Amy, for the update. And we'll continue to listen to the Our Football podcast there from Kari, Adriana, and Amy, who talk all about the Mexican soccer, including the men's, the women's, and all of it related. Really, really great discussion last week on all the different tournaments. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it last week, from the U17, so what's happening with the men's, also with women's, and also Liga MX and Liguilla and the men's. So awesome things that they do. So definitely we'll continue to support Our Football podcast. Listen to it, subscribe to it on the SoundCloud, and then also all retweeting and obviously following everything that's happening there. So thank you.
Follow us because we really have so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun, and we talk nothing but football. So you guys are more than welcome to join us. So
no, it's great because you've all heard enough from like me and Wiso and Tom. Who cares about us? But we need like new voices in there. I'm tired of us too. We need. I don't know. It's good.
I'll never get tired of you, Cesar.
Right, well, thank you.
I sometimes get tired of you, Cesar.
Thousands of people would disagree with you, but thank you.
All right, Amy, would you be sticking around with us so we can give us an update on on the predictions table a little bit after our 3 talk, or are you going to come back?
Oh yeah, I'll come back later. My pager went off. Sorry, I have to go now.
All right.
So
Amy
I'll
is
be back.
also a doctor at General Hospital in LA, so she's gonna go do an operation with you.
Goodbye, Dr. Lopez.
I'll be back. I swear, I'll be back to explain the predictions table and everything.
Live tweeting is Amy. Thank you so much, Amy, for coming in, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, goodbye.
All right. El Tri.
Do we have to talk about El Tri?
We do. I mean, we need.
It's painful. It's really painful.
I have kind of a cool discussion that we can talk about it. I know people are upset, and all these games, and then the leadership and the memos talking about which his comments that we talked about last week. Just kind of review. Really, nothing happened last week that we can see. Any positives? I mean, we keep talking about negatives, but Cesar Arcadi, anything positive from last week? That's Mexico. If you missed it, 2-0 early 1 minute. They score, and then Mexico really didn't do anything. Argentina really didn't do anything, and then another defensive mistake almost with that 2-0. And then I honestly started just looking at Twitter. And then I tweeted to my mom about, how can I put a 25-pound turkey in the microwave? And over on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, and she's like, the cool thing, she's like, Mijo, why don't you bring it to mine and I'll cook it for you? And then I forgot what happened at the game. But,
you didn't miss out on much.
Positives. Can we get some positives out of this?
The only positive that I can think of from these 2 games in Argentina is that they were played in Argentina. That's probably it. Why? Because Mexico needs to extend to foreign grounds and feel the pressure. And I think, honestly, these 6 friendlies have been mostly for nothing. Why? Because we shouldn't take them seriously. Why? Because there's no blueprint for the 3 right now. We don't have a legit coach right now. Yeah, there's rumors, but it's official. So all in all, they're just friendlies. Why? Monetary reasons. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have El Tri play 6 games after World Cup. So I think Ali appreciated playing in foreign ground because they get to have a different atmosphere and feel the pressure, because not everywhere they're going to be home. In Mexico, they're home. In US, they're home. In Argentina, they're not home. So I think other than that, just giving a few minutes to some youngsters, and that's pretty much it.
Go ahead, but before I answer this, I have this kind of I was talking to somebody in Federation that's close to the Federation, and that question of 6 games after World Cup, why? Mexico's never done that. After a World Cup, they played one in 2010. I think they played another one after 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But 6, and what I kind of got the response from, and I was a little surprised, is that it was actually a lot of the CONMEBOL teams asking to play CONCACAF teams because they didn't have anybody to play during the FIFA dates. Hence, why Mexico went to Argentina. So in that sense, it kind of makes sense that Mexico, like, if Uruguay calls you up and says, hey, we want to play, because that's how it's negotiations of one person to another. It's not like Mexico goes, who do we want to play? It's other teams asking Mexico to play. Granted that they're in the U.S. and all of that. But because of the FIFA date, I'm starting to get a little more sense as to why these games were planned. Do you, as a federation, Cesar and Kari, or the president of the FMF, a team's calling you to play, do you say no? Especially monetary reasons. Right. But I think they just had to take it. And the youngsters played. We saw some good, some players that come in, regardless if we don't have a coach. And I don't think that's the FMF's fault. They wanted Osorio to come back, right? And it didn't. They wanted to make I think they've had Tata Martino from the very beginning and lied about all these 24 interviews. It's been already in the books about Tata Martino in the context. I think they've had it way before it was leaked. And then they're just waiting for Tata Martino to be over with. If Tata Martino was done and Atlanta didn't make it to the playoffs, and it would have been done, I think Mexico had already been with Tata Martino and already stepped in. So I feel like, I know we're throwing FMF, and it's right that we do that because of the past and the history of how they ran Mexican soccer. But I don't really see the frustration that all these players have against the FMF when I think they're just trying to, get Tata Martino in and play as many games as possible. Cesar,
yeah, a little bit of a tangent too. What I was going to say is that, like, I talked about this in the last episode, but I think that having those 6 games is kind of a blessing in disguise, because a lot of us have talked about just like, oh, what would Mexico look like if Tuca was manager? What would happen if Tuca was manager? We've talked about that a lot. I think that discussions really started after that CONCACAF Cup win, where Tuca genuinely did a good job for Mexico against the U.S. men's national team. And over the last 6 games, we've had that opportunity to see him coach Mexico through 6 different matches. And I think what we learned is that Tuca isn't worthy of coaching the national team. I think that's the truth. And I think the unfortunate truth too is that, I mean, I don't know how much control he really has over the roster selection, but you do question why was he choosing Pulido? Why was he starting Pulido? Why was he bringing in Cata? Why was he bringing in Dueñas? Why was he bringing in Brizuela? So I think that, yeah, there were a lot of games. Yeah, maybe 6 games isn't ideal after the World Cup, but I think the scheduling kind of, I don't know.
You there?
Did he freeze?
Did you freeze? You still there?
Wi-Fi went out. I'm back now. Tuca, I have. There's a rumor that Tuca just kind of like shut off my Wi-Fi for a second there after I was talking a little smack right there. But long story short, I think once again, I think it was a blessing in disguise because we gave Tuca that opportunity. We gave Tuca an opportunity in friendlies, not matches that are really meaningful. Friendlies where it really doesn't really hurt Mexico that much in a World Cup year. And I'm glad that we gave him that chance and that he showed that he's not ready for 3. He's not ready for 3, and I'm glad we started.
I would disagree. And that's just so. Remember, I think the last time I was on, I had told you guys I would like to see Tuca, and you guys were kind of like, really? I honestly think Tuca has neglected Tigres as he's neglected at Selección Mexicana. Like, I really think so. Why? Because it's just from Tigres, and then has a couple of days with Selección, and then goes back to Tigres. So I think. I don't discredit Tuca at all. I think what he's done with Tigres is awesome. I do agree. I wonder how much control he does have over the roster because there's some players that I'm like, really? Like, again, for what? So, yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of disagree. I don't discredit Tuca, but I think everybody was being really harsh on Tuca, and I don't think Tuca has a lot to blame for.
I agree.
That's a good point.
I agree with both of you, and I disagree with both of you.
Everyone's wrong.
I agree. I don't think that we should judge Tuca. Oh, he's not manager material for the national team. I think if it came down to it and Tata said no and Tuca gave the 100%, and I would like to see what Tuca can do with the national team. What he's done with Mexican soccer, look at what he's about to do with Tigres. Like, they're a well-coached team, and it's going to come in and
that's also the most talented team. He's not coaching Querétaro. He's coaching Tigres. Yeah, I'm
not saying that it isn't, but if it came down to it, and I'm sorry, if it came down with Almeida and Tuca, I would pick Tuca personally, which what he's seen and what we have. I don't think this was fair to say Tuca's done because he gave him 6 teams, because when we gave him the chance, he beat the US in that cup. Like, he did, and he played Argentina, almost beat Argentina in a very, very good game, game back in Dallas during that time. So again, but at the same time, I don't think Tuca should be our manager.
I think the other thing to say too is, like, regardless of whether you think Tuca is good enough to coach 03, maybe he's capable of doing a little bit more. But either way, I think what he really squandered his opportunity. He was given 6 games, he lost 5 of them, and I think that, and I think it's much more. And you know what? And it's much more than those 5 losses. When you watch those guys, you watch most of the way that Mexico played. I mean, I don't know. The players looked a little, I don't know, unmotivated. There was a lack of really ideas going forward in the final third. And I think when that happens, you kind of have to look at that man. You kind of have to look at the manager when there's really a lack of enthusiasm from most of the players on the field. And I think maybe you can make the argument, yeah, maybe Tuca is worthy of being given an opportunity for 3. But I think bottom line, he really wasted that opportunity over 6 games. Over 6 games.
I think if Tuca had the roster he had in World Cup, these 6 friendlies would have gone differently. Because in all, he's not going to start Shaka. Let's be honest. He's not going to start Angel Saldívar. If he had the elite European squad from World Cup in these 6 friendlies, 4 out of 6 games, I definitely would see them winning. But
no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Tecatito, Jimenez in the first games. I think even the first 2 games, it was Torrado who picked the lineup. Again, I don't think Tuca should be our national team manager, but I don't say, okay, Tuca, you had your chance. So, But thank you, Tuca, for taking over. Who else would have been for those 6 games? That's another thing. Like, imagine if Tuca said, "No, I want to focus on Tigres." Who would we have as interim in there?
Yeah.
It's
and there is something to be said about what Kari was saying earlier. It's just like Tuca is like the busiest man in like Mexican soccer. He's like going to Canada for the Campeones Cup, and he was taking part in the Copa MX with Tigres. Then he was flying out to Argentina. He's flying out to the United States. So he was extremely busy with the Mexican national. And I think that's in his credit. You do have to recognize that as well.
We'll see. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see more games in CONMEBOL, and I think we will next year. I think, as you saw, we got some games coming up that are going to be announced pretty soon, actually. In fact, this week. So keep your eye out on the FMF. Some games that will be announced for Mexico already in March, in June. You guys are listening on here. I think, you start seeing either San Diego, again, the 49ers Stadium, Atlanta thrown in there, Dallas.
Colcom? No, don't go to Colcom. It's a lame stadium. Go somewhere else. No, okay. I'm kidding. Come over here. That way, that stadium's like 3 miles that way. So
those are the cities that I'm hearing, but I know for sure there's going to be announcements soon. All right. Let's jump into the Liguilla, but before we do that, I think Amy's gonna jump on with us right now. So Amy, if you're watching, I know you are. If you want to come jump right back on and talk about the prediction contest that we have with the Mexican Soccer Show, our new additions that we have for the Liguilla, the winners. I get to boast a little bit. It's funny, when Jason left, Cruz Azul not only is a super leader, but also I took the reins of the Mexican Soccer Show prediction. So Jason, I know you still watch this from the other side of the world, brother. If you want to come back on the show and at least one more, if Cruz Azul wins, we better get you on the show, buddy. So we'll see.
Right, Jason, we love you. We miss you.
It'd be hilarious if he comes back in.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wait for Amy to come back and talk about this, but let's talk about Liguilla. And first of all, a little reaction from last weekend. Any big surprises, specifically? Wait, Amy's back. Before we talk about Liguilla stuff, Amy coming back with another great update on what's happening with the Mexican Soccer Show and our predictions. How the fans can take it away and just can squander all my dreams of winning one of these Liguilla madnesses. Let us know.
First of all, I don't know how you got 7 right this past weekend. It's rigged. I feel like it's rigged. I'm in charge of it, and somehow.
Amy, how much money did Wiso give you? 70. How much?
I'm sorry. I signed a what are those called?
Non-disclosure agreement.
An NDA.
Yeah, signed one of those. Sorry, I can't. It's rigged. I'm in charge of it, but somehow I was doing the tally yesterday, and I was like, "Are you serious?" I triple checked. I was like, "There's
eyes. No one ever."
Yes, but as the final regular season games panned out, and let me explain to the fans because I saw a few tweets. I'm really sorry. This is what happened, guys. Okay, so Wednesday was Wednesday, right? Thursday was Thanksgiving, and then Friday I had an Amy day where I went to go see a really cool DJ, and I just kind of forgot. Okay, so I thought the best thing that I could do was look at all 16 weeks. Yes, I went back every week.
Went to go see a really cool DJ.
Yes, I did. Go check out my Instagram story at Aztecum. No, but so what I did was I looked back at all the weeks for the past 16 weeks. I tallied it up and I got the average. And then that was the fans average for week 17, which you guys still got 5. So I mean, like, don't complain, right? But anyway, we still ended up in first. The fans were in second. Adriana was in third. I was in fourth. Cesar was in fifth, and Tom was last. So that's how it panned out. And so we invited 2 special guests because we need 8 people to get the bracket going. So John Arnold and somebody by the name of Cari Torres is going to be joining us as well. So it's a really cool idea that Wiso gave me for the fans. So fans, just stay tuned for the tweets that are going to come out, so that, because what we're going to do is basically like the players do. I mean, basically like the teams do. 2 legs, you get points for both legs, and then whoever has the most points between the 2 legs advances to the next stage. So look out for the tweets so that you can predict the scores, and then we can see who advances to the next rounds.
Wait,
and
so
then
Who am I up
I'm
against?
not. Just wait for the post. That's what
I'm impatient.
Are we
I'm
gonna
impatient.
raffle like in a little bowl with names and see who's?
Oh
first?
yeah, like like they do with like the group stage draw. Yes.
No rankings.
No,
Rankings. That's why
I
you
worked
got points throughout the whole
I
season,
worked hard to be
guys.
number one.
God, there is a system. Please.
Thank you, Amy. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, participate, fans, on obviously on the polls that you'll have. So if you're, Cruz Azul versus Querétaro, you get to see how many goals Cruz Azul scores, Querétaro scores, and it should be a lot of fun. If you guys beat all of us, we won't continue the Liguilla next year. We'll just be like, that's over.
Cancel the show. Cancel the show. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, at least beat the fans. No, we're good. So it'll be fun. Thank you, Amy, for that update.
You're welcome.
People are asking, they want to know more about the Amy Day, JP Santoyo. So there you go. It's like there'll be a whole blog post about that on Food Mix Nation.
Oh no, that is not a blog post kind of. That is not a blog post kind of thing that I. No, but I have a lot of fun making this graphic. It's like my favorite time of the year to make this graphic and the brackets and everything. So just look out for that post, and then everybody can see who they're facing.
Awesome.
And then Tom and Adriana, if you're listening to me, I still haven't gotten your guys' predictions.
I locked my answer.
Yeah. Yes. We saw Cesar and Kari already locked in their answers.
Boom.
So thank you guys.
All right. All right.
Yeah. I completely forgot. I'll just send it in the WhatsApp group. I made my own tally of the order. Everybody sent me their prediction scores because some people would take forever.
Oh, I'm always on time. I'll
tally. Adriana was the one that was most on time. I can say that.
What?
Then it was Cesar, close second. I have to tally the points that I did. So it was like 3 points for the person that came in first, 2 points for the person that came in second.
I'm always last.
Lisa was always last, so he got 0 points. So we'll see. I'll have those tallied and I'll send it in the group chat. But that was a lot of fun. That was my fun for me, and I had to keep it silent for 17 weeks. So.
There's a direct correlation between waiting as long as possible and winning this whole thing because that's what I did. So, all right, Amy, thank you very much. We'll continue to, guys, definitely vote, and we'll see. I wanna win this and just take it to Jason and be like, "What's up? This is what happens." All right, guys, and Tom, I get Tom. Since I think Tom is going to be last. I know he's last, and he's probably going to go against me. Watch this guy win a la Leon because he's in 8th place in Liguilla, and he does that and wins the whole time. So we'll see. All right, Amy, thanks a lot, and we'll see you later. Okay, Liguilla time. Somebody's killing their dog.
My dogs are barking. Sorry.
Oh, it's Patty's dogs. It's all right. It's all right. It happens.
It's okay. There's a 1 in 3 chance that my cat's gonna jump right in front of me, like at any point. So. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Liguilla. Let's talk about the 1 versus the 8, as you say, Cruz Azul versus Querétaro. Very, very exciting match. Cruz Azul, el super leader. Right off the bat, what chance do you see? If you can give a percentage, guys. Let's go with a percentage. Give me a percentage that Querétaro takes this from Cruz Azul.
I would go with 35%. I think Querétaro will make things surprisingly difficult if that's 35% worthy right there. I think you have individual players like Volpi and Güemes, Sanveso, Marcel Ruiz, who, they're pretty talented on there. And they also defeated Cruz Azul earlier this season, 2-0, if I remember correctly. But, Cruz Azul are just on fire right now. They got those 3 wins in a row. So I think Querétaro are going to make things a little bit tough, but I still see Cruz Azul sneaking by into the semifinal stage.
Yeah.
I have a 40% Querétaro, 60 Cruz Azul. Okay. Even though I did say Cruz Azul, but I agree with Cesar. I think Querétaro, I said at a preseason in a podcast that they were going to be one of those teams just like slowly lurking up there, and they did. We all thought that Pachuca was going to win that game, and surprisingly, they didn't. So Querétaro ended up slipping into 8th, and I think they could give Cruz Azul some trouble. But Cruz Azul has a really stacked team. You can't. It's just they're just stacked, and the chemistry that Elias has with Piojo, and it's just they all play their role, and I think they've been having a great season. So I think 40-60, but Cruz Azul advances to me.
Yeah, when you have a team that has that kind of depth, and when you look at a series that's over 2 legs, and you have to back Cruz Azul. But then again, wouldn't the most Cruz Azul of Cruz Azul things would be if they exactly, if they lost in the quarterfinal stage after being in first place, after like giving so much like hype and excitement to their fan base, and then once again the curse continues since 1997 that their last title. I think this would be their sixth final since, and I don't quote me on that, but I think this would be their sixth final since 1997 without a title. So I think that'd be pretty painful for them, but that would get, once again, that'd be the most crucial things.
The most crucial thing with them making the final and then losing would be Eterno segundo lugar.
They're different. They're varying degrees of the Cruz Azuliada. Yeah,
what's
they're just like
now or on the final, and you have I just totally lost America's keeper. Who's the goalkeeper right now in America?
Marchesín?
Yeah, Marchesín score in like some kind of like last free kick, or
he takes free kicks, man. I've seen him take free kicks before.
Or he scores in a free kick or a corner kick, and somehow Piojo squeezes in there again, another one in the same sense. Cruz Azul has, I would go, I think you guys are low. I think it's 70-30, 75-25. I'll look at Etaro and then the leadership and the team. I'm glad to see him in the Liguilla and what they're doing. But at the same time, when Cata Dominguez does well in a team, like the team is good. Like he played well.
But I think the thing is, it's that there's a certain guy next to him called Pablo Aguilar, and I think you could put Pablo Aguilar next to any defender. Pablo Aguilar made Topo Valenzuela look fantastic in Xolos, and right now he's working alongside Cata, and I mean, as long as you have Pablo Aguilar, you're gonna have a solid defense, and you also have a backup like Lichnowsky, who's also legit as well, and you also have Chuy Corona, who's having a second win in his career. So yeah,
amazing season. Cruz Azul has got pretty everything. It's just, and even one thing that I've always said of Cruz Azul is they've had great players, and in obviously the coach, someone like him saying that this is one of the most spectacular teams that he's seen and he's coached. Is huge. The psychology of Cruz Azul right now is something that I haven't seen in many, many years, where these guys believe that they can win. They knew they were going to win the Copa MX, and now they're coming in excited. I think it's finally going to be a final for Cruz Azul, even though I pick America, but I don't see Querétaro or even coming close to it. But who knows? I mean, again, we're all at the one point that we're all sure about Cruz Azul. They let us down, even us non-fans. One thing to note, right? Invierno 98 against Pumas, Invierno 2000 against Atlas, Apertura 2006 against Chivas, Apertura 2010 against Pumas, and I remember Clausura 2014 against My León. Cruz Azul has been super leader and gets knocked off or eliminated. So they have at this point before 5 times since 1998 has been the super leader of the season, and then talk about suffering. I think it's going to be different this year, except I think they're going to lose in the final. But
I mean, I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go through, but I don't think they're going to win it all.
Yeah. And then they're already talking about who's going to come up on the next leg, right? I mean, it's you shouldn't really be counting the following, but this is like I said, this is a different Cruz Azul. So I think we all can agree that Cruz Azul is going to go next, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else to add between that game?
I just want to say that my uncle's a Cruz Azul fan, so this weekend he was like, "Tell me who's the best player that Cruz Azul has gotten." I was like, "Elias, no. Piojo, no." He's like, "Aguilar," and I think it just solidifies what Cesar said, that Aguilar has done great defensively, backbone of Cruz Azul, so and it shows.
I would agree. I would say it's Aguilar. I think people will point at someone like Marcone being such a crucial player right there, but I think the Aguilar is just, he could make an average defense look extremely good, and he has some good he has some decent defenders working alongside him. So I think it's Aguilar, and I think not to linger around Cruz Azul a little bit longer, but I think I've said this for multiple Mexican soccer teams, but I think a strong defense can carry you quite far in the Liguilla.
Agreed. Yeah,
I mean, even the depth, like you said it right, of the team, they're subbing right. The people that are coming in are making a difference. It's going to be interesting. And I think this is why this makes a Liguilla. It's not just the Ginax. It's not America. It's not, and we'll talk about a little bit about Toluca there. And then obviously the Campeón Santos is coming in. This is one of the, I think, most exciting Liguillas that I can remember, especially the quality of the teams that are coming in is that the teams that are going to be there. And Querétaro squeezing in. We talked about it last week. I said, I guarantee you Leon's going to mess it up. People kept saying because it's the family and there's, how can they be owned? And I said it before, like the rivalry between the family and the son of actually doing something against, even though it might cause money problems or whatever, I didn't think they were going to either. I had them losing, but when I was putting that on I'm like, man, it's going to be a tie. Watch, because Leon is going to go all out and try not to do that because there's certain civil and rivalry. You might love your brother, right? But you don't want your brother to be better than you. That's just how it is. So
I mean, that's why I try to always one up Chicharito. I mean, he's out there killing it in England, but I'm obviously the more well-known Hernandez from our family.
Definitely. There's some really quick. I know there's some Boselli drama that's in there. That
they want to talk about it.
That as far as a Leon fan, Kari and I are like, are you serious? But is he still worth it? So we won't really talk about it right there. I'm sure Kari and I will be tweeting. I know a really good, and I'm going to do a quick plug. Nacion Esmeralda does a great job in English on Twitter. If you're a Leon fan, definitely a lot and kind of kept up on that. So if you have some questions or anything, give it out to those guys. They do a great job on Twitter. Nacion Esmeralda. And then doing that. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, let's go into the 2 versus the 7. That is America contra Toluca. Exciting game. Again, I feel like these matchups are perfect. In my eyes, Toluca has always found a way. It's like Cristante knows how to play Piojo and can give those hard. I mean, they can beat. If there's a team that I think, is like, it's like the Mexico to Brazil. Brazil can't just beat us all flat out except for this World Cup. Like somebody explained that they're like the little rock in the shoe. I feel that's like Toluca to America in these past years. Toluca, a team that is not given that, one of the 4 greats, but definitely has the titles in there. And then America, who, like I said at the beginning, has had a great season, has fought for the first top 3 places from week 1, is a team that's got a lot of talent, and Piojo on the pressure of needing to win is going to make these very, very exciting. How do you guys see this game? Who do you think comes out of it? And I'll give you again that percentage. Toluca, what percentage do you see them winning? What percentage you gave? See, you said 60, Kari, and then Cesar, you said 35?
It's the 35 for Querétaro, yeah.
Now, does that change Toluca?
I'll go with 20%.
Okay, what? So
Yeah.
Toluca has a low chance of beating America, and Querétaro can beat Cruz Azul.
I think I think Querétaro has a wait. I'm a little confused. So Toluca has a 20% chance of defeating America.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So.
Yeah, Toluca has a 20% chance. Sorry, something got lost there for a second.
Wait. So Querétaro has a better chance of beating Cruz Azul.
Yes.
Giving them yeah.
Then
Toluca has of beating America. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I hate to boil it down to just like one stat, but I think that I continue to be unconvinced by Toluca away from home. I think every single time I've seen them away from home, they haven't really been. They really don't do that well. And of all the playoff teams, I believe they have the worst away record from the top 8. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first leg was a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's a tie. Maybe they sneak by with a narrow win, but. I don't know. I see America getting that maybe like a 2-0, perhaps even 3-0 win in the second leg. And I know that we talk about, Cristante, maybe him and Toluca can make things tough for America, but over 2 legs, I don't know. With that roster, I think Toluca's roster is good enough to qualify for the playoffs, but I just don't see them as a genuine title contender. I just don't see them sneaking past the quarterfinal stage. And I think when you look at the squads, I mean, just America, they're superior to them, and I think that you also have to support the side that has 33 goals in 17 games, and that's America. So I don't know. I think first game wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, but I think America is going to potentially get like a 2 or 3-0 win in that second leg.
Okay. Kari, percentages for you?
I am going to go with a 55-45.
Oh.
Toluca with a 45, just because I like this match a lot. I think
the middle there, Gotti. 60, 40, 45. And the next one it's gonna be 57 to.
I just think Toluca could play at two por two with America. I really do, and I think they're very intense. The rivalry is intense. I think I mean I don't know if you guys. I want to see Cristante choke Piojo again. That was my highlight of a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, but no, I really think it's a great matchup. I think Toluca has really great players: Sambu, Alexis Vega, Salinas. They have really good quality. I just think it's just a matter of exploding it in La Liguilla. America, I mean, come on, they do have a stacked squad. If you look at their center back duo, they have 7 goals this season. And that's sitting Alvarez on bench, which I kind of was, don't sit Edson Alvarez because I really want to see that youngster. He's young, but I don't know. I actually said a draw in the first leg. I do think it's a draw the first leg. I think depending on that game, my percentages might clarify more in the second leg. But I really like this match. I think it's going to be a really good one. And I'm kind of shocked that Toluca did lose versus Lobos this weekend because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they'll take that to bounce back and fire against America. And I'm really looking forward to it. So as of right now, first leg, that's my percentage because I did say a draw first leg.
All right. And I like the percentages. This is kind of when I brought it out to see where your thinking are and on who's getting closer to do an upset in that sense.
We should do fractions the next one.
Yeah, it's like 49.5, 51. 48.5, 51.5.
What about you, Lisa? What are your percentages?
I'm gonna go. I mean, I said 25%. I'd maybe give it 30%. See, I'm on the low end. I don't think there's, on that sense, 30%. Toluca, like I said, I'm kind of with you there. Cristante, I also predicted it. I actually said 0-0 on the first leg because that's what Piojo likes to do, like to finish things. I think he knows that, a player like Sambo can be the difference maker. And then the rivalry between there, I'm predicting a red card.
I was going to say that. Sambo better not get a red card. He better not get a red card.
As soon as Toluca's he knows he's not going to win in they're in Mexico City in El DF and Sambo's already like 2-0, Sambo's going to get a red card.
I'll go with 400% percentage right there for that. 400%. You heard it here.
Although he's calmed down, right? Maybe it was the whole America thing because
he's still somewhere.
He's still somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's heightened.
We call it sambuesa, frambuesa, the color of the reds that he gets in that sense. But yeah, I could go with there. America closing really well, just the talent that they have. Also, Tiberio is not going to be there for Toluca because he's expelled. America much superior, so I'm going to go with America on this. And as much as I want to see Toluca keep on winning and give that argument maybe more titles than any other team, but not as popular in the United States. So people could really fight about the 4 top teams. But I just don't see this Toluca as much as I like Cristante too. So I'm kind of taking over that. So it should be a fun game though. That's another fun. This is what I'm saying. These games are, every single one of them are a lot of fun. We have that.
Yeah.
All right, switching over. Pumas, Tigres, Felinos, the Cats going in. This is a great game that we have. Ginac scoring 14 goals. We want to see Mr. Liguilla again, and this is where he shines. Although last season he really did shine in the Liguilla. But this is it. Here's Stuka. This is where he shines, and especially during the Liguilla, they could win a game. Usually we've seen Ginac scored 10 or more goals. This time he scored 14. For me, Pumas, very irregular. At times they can be well, but then all of a sudden they're not. The only positive that I see maybe is because Pumas is closing at home. But again, Tigres in Monterrey, Tigres in Nuevo León, it's that stadium and Tuca and everybody all fired up. So for you guys, what do you see as far as, I guess? Well, let's talk about it. Who's the favorite here? Tigres.
Tigres is clear favorite.
Even though the table doesn't say it.
Yeah, Tigres are the favorites. Oh, come on, it's Liga MX. We play like we play like 3 games and go into the playoffs, and then be like, oh, but they're at number 3, but they're at 7th. No, it's 17 games over like a few months. No, it's 100% Tigres. When you look at their momentum, you look at the squad, and when you look at the fact that Tuca doesn't have to worry about his side gig over there, his second job. Some people Uber. Tuca decides to take charge of El Tri. So I think that Tigres are definitely going to be the favorite here. And I think another thing that you're going to have to keep an eye on is that I think, and I hate to bring it up, just be like, oh, it's only a home form or away form. But I think one of the things that we've learned this season is that you can't trust Pumas at home. You 100% can't trust Pumas at home. 2 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses, 14 goals allowed at home. And I feel like every single time I've seen it at home, there's just something that's really bizarre. Maybe it's the kickoff time. Maybe it's the fact that it's early on a Sunday. I don't know. But there's just really, really something odd about Pumas at home. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tigres at least get a draw in that first leg, and then they go over to Mexico City and then get a win there. So I think that the two things you have to keep in mind, Tuca now going all in with Tigres as opposed to focusing on El Tri, and that Pumas just, I don't know, they're just, as strange as it is to say the team that third place is unconvincing at home when you have a side that only has 2 wins. I don't know. You can't feel that confident about them.
Cesar, before I go over to Cari, percentage. We can take percentage for Pumas to win.
Percentage for Pumas? I'll go with honestly, I'll go with 15%. I'm gonna drop it down to 15%. I am very I'll go with a 14.83333. You know those little lines you go above the threes.
Querétaro beating Cruz Azul, and you have Toluca beating America more than Pumas beating. Interesting. I like it. See,
no, I just think that Tigres right now, they're the most informed and powerful team in the league. And that seeding doesn't really matter in Liga MX because it's 17 games, and we say it's a season, but it's just a few months.
It's true. All right, Cari, to you. Start with the percentages, and then give us your take on who's going to win and why.
I'll give Pumas 20%, and I'm being nice. No, I agree. Pumas, very inconsistent, sums up the regular season for them. I think they can't be as credible. They could be winning beating Puebla 2-0, and they get tied last minute 2-2, which was what happened in one of the games. And Pumas is very inconsistent, as much as it probably hurts my dad because my dad's a Pumas fan. But
we're all over the place with teams,
right?
On Pumas, it'd be a fun time.
It will be. And I think what happened with Pumas last season, they got into La Liguilla and got trashed by America, but they're in third place. I kind of predicted that they were going to decline and not make it to La Liga, which did not happen. But Tigres, I still feel they've been neglected this whole season. It's not a Tigres that I feel comfortable with. I mean, despite the quality that they do have, how they've been playing hasn't been all great. Tuca hasn't even admitted it. Like, I don't like how they've been playing, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean they could not turn it up in La Liguilla, which they eventually do. I mean, the 6th win over Puebla, 4 goals by Gignac, I think everybody was kind of more feeling Tigres. Oh, yeah, Tigres is, grande para ganar. And then they are, but I don't know. I think it'll be difficult for Tigres next leg. I mean, next not the next leg, like next phase for them. Yeah, I don't think it should be any problem with Tigres beating Pumas. I don't see it. I think they'll run into trouble the next phase. And just to say, Tigres has Gignac for a little bit more longer. He renewed with them, so excited to see Gignac stay in Mexico.
I see. I mean, if a Pumas fan's looking at it, guys, you guys are just crapping on my team. There's a little bit of hope.
Yeah, I am.
A little
bit with that.
A little bit of tiny hope. I have never seen the Tigres from the last 4 or 5 years have this bad of a defense. There are a lot of goals have been scored against Tigres. A little lazy on that side, but on the same time, Pumas is the same way. So I think on both sides, there's a lot of offense. I think we're going to see a lot of goals, and if Pumas can just try to get if Tuca goes out there like he has, for example, that Libertadores final and tries to do everything in the second leg, or doesn't take advantage of that home team advantage of the first game, and with that lazy defense that Tigres has at times that we've seen, and Pumas just appears, and even though they've been on a slump, if you saw this weekend, Pablo Barrera missing 2 clear chances in that sense, and just kind of comes back. There's your hope, Pumas fan. I think it can be done. and I'm thinking at like 35%. No, I'll give it 40%, just because I've seen that regular just like you said, Tuca hasn't been there, and even though Gignac is already signed up, I can see kind of all fall apart. And if they go back and Pumas is up 1-0, 2-1, and then they go back and in Mexico City over there in Seoul. So, but if I have to put, they're gonna squeeze through.
Advances, yeah.
And then we have that. So at least we're giving you guys a little bit of hope. All right, the last leg before we have to go. I know we're already past the hour mark. Santos, el campeón. In my taste, I don't want Santos to win because I want to keep that. I want to put that tweet as soon as Santos is out. Be campeones. Only one team, which is León.
Oh, hopefully Kim Tate isn't listening.
Kim, I love you. You're great. Thank you for everything you do with the Santos. But it's a personal. If you have a bicampeón, then we won't be the bicampeones anymore. That's the only thing León has. You don't have Boselli anymore. At least we can keep that. At least that's the only thing I can say. It's hard to win 2 tournaments in a row, and if Santos does it, I don't have anything else. All right.
Landon, the greatest American soccer player of all, your favorite player of all time, Lisa. I think it.
We have that. We're gonna talk about that. All right. I saw your picture. All right, let's talk about.
Hey, that's all in the WhatsApp group, man. What are you talking about?
Santos Monterrey. Out of the I get it. It's like I kind of want, Monterrey was supposed to be this team, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? Even though I don't want Santos to win, I want Santos to win on this one. But let's talk about percentages. And first of all, who's the underdog in this?
I don't know. I'm sticking. I mean, because if we're gonna jump straight into percentages, I'm gonna go 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I think this is the toughest one to call. I think obviously you think that Monterrey are the stronger team on paper. I think that I don't know, when you look at someone like Diego Alonso, who could potentially carry them kind of far into the series, and then they're better form too. Santos have looked a little unconvincing in their last few games. I know they've basically got the playoffs like all but secured in the last few weeks. Maybe there wasn't motivation to do well, but I think that they looked a little worse in the last few weeks. And once again, I think momentum is huge in the playoffs. But then again, I would make the argument that the most lethal attacking duo in the league is Furch and Rodriguez. And I think that would potentially carry Santos past Monterrey. So I don't know. I'll go with 50-50. Maybe if I had to choose one side over the other, I'm going to say it's 50.1 for Santos. And then, yeah, there we go. There you go. Okay. Although hopefully it's not an electoral college because you can still win the popular vote, but then I don't know, you still aren't able to get through. But anyhow.
Great segue into that. We don't even know. Good job. Got any percentages? Okay, who's your underdog?
My underdog is Monterrey.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go total 160 on Cesar on this. I'm gonna go Santos 75%, Monterrey 35.
Okay. Wow.
I don't like this Monterrey. They have showed nothing for me this whole season. Nothing. They have good players, yes. They haven't done anything. Diego Alonso, me and Tom were talking about on our podcast. Diego Alonso, it's like if Mohamed never left. Diego Alonso has done nothing to the squad. Monterrey doesn't have a style of play determined. They don't. They really don't. So I think they just mellowed out throughout the whole season. Win here, win there. Collectively, I don't like how they're playing. They have good players. They have Pavon. They have Funes Moris, there's a team with no identity. I just don't see them going far. I really don't. You do have a stacked team, but I just really want them to engage me. Like, oh my God, this Monterrey is actually playing good. Like, it's exciting. It's not exciting to me. Yeah. Pizarro, horrible season. And I think it's just talent gone to waste in Mexico. Was at his prime. He should have been exported. And I'm going to keep saying that. But it's not a great season with Monterrey. I don't see this Monterrey as a strong. I don't fear them, honestly. So Santos, I think Cesar really mentioned it well. Furch, lethal striker that will continue to make goals. And his combination with Cabecita, awesome quality. We can expect Osvaldo Martinez to make a free kick goal in this Liguilla, of course. I just think Santos has this easily.
Oh, wow. The confidence is what I like, Cari, on that. I'm a little bit around the set side. It could go either way. I'm still going to give it to Santos, almost in the same reason as to why. Because I'm pissed the fact that Rayados hasn't been the Rayados that we thought it was going to be. It's kind of like on a personal, right? It's Pizarro going over there. They have the money. They have the fans, the stadium. Mohamed left a good team, and here we go. And just but then again, look, they made it to the Liguilla. That just tells you that every other team under Rayados being this.
Yeah, I guess because I guess it's all about like what the expectations are. Because I might be 100% wrong in this, but haven't they qualified for like they've been in like the top 8 for like I think it's like a year or two consecutively. Like they've never dropped out of the top 8. I might be 100% wrong in this, but I feel like I saw a stat somewhere out there that they've never been out of the top 8 in like a year or two, which is pretty crazy. But then again, I guess that's easy to say, but then when you look at your neighbors and you look at Tigres and just the fact that they're the closest to us having a dynasty in recent years. So you would imagine a lot of Rayados fans are feeling a little jealous about what Tigres are accomplishing. But I do agree. Yeah, it's not the most exciting Monterrey side. But I don't know. Some of those individuals, I wouldn't be surprised if they step up during the playoffs.
Yeah. But then again, I could totally see all of a sudden the great players and all of it comes back and Rayados somehow upset. And they can, because I'm not saying Santos is being an amazing team like America and Tigres or Cruz Azul in that sense. Now, but we'll see what happens after this. I do have to say that after this, neither of these teams go into a final. If we want to keep going, so we'll continue. All right, but that's our prediction, guys. I know we went a little bit over. I wanted to give you a good show with what we thought about it. I'm pretty sure everybody's on as far as prediction wise, right? Everybody picked. Did you say Monterrey, right? Cesar, that's the only one that you said Monterrey, just a little bit over Santos or Santos over Monterrey?
No, I said so. My 4 Cruz Azul, America, Tigres, Santos.
Yeah, I think that's all 4 for you too, Cari, right?
Cruz Azul, America, Tigres, and Santos.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. Guys, tell us our predictions. Are we wrong? Rayados fan, Santos fan, Pumas, Toluca fans, do you hate our predictions or do you know that that's what's going to happen?
They always hate our predictions.
All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Gracias, Cari, for jumping on. You're always welcome to come on the show and help us out with all of your knowledge. I know that you have a great podcast, obviously, in our football podcast, and you also have a podcast with Mr. Tom Harrison, friend of the Food Mex Nation, on there. Tell us a little bit about what you do and give. I know Amy, said, "Hey, go to my Instagram." So this is your time to say, "Hey, go to this is what I do," and follow. So here's your little 10 seconds of promoting Cari.
Okay, so as you guys know, I do have the podcast with the ladies, our football podcast, all women's podcasts about football. Definitely follow us. And then I also have the podcast with Tom, which is called Another Football Podcast. We actually got the name from a Twitter fan because we were like, we have no idea what to name this. So we constantly do a podcast every week, basically Liga MX. We've done different just kind of like the games that we've watched. They're not the typical games like, the America. No, we'll talk about like a Necaxa Toluca game, that people don't really talk about. And, we do Liga MX, basically El Tri when El Tri shows out. But when we usually, El Tri games, we usually try and do something fun because friendlies are depressing and we don't want to do a Molero podcast, which I've joked about. So yeah, follow us on SoundCloud. It's under the Colorful Kits. And our podcast is Another Football Podcast. So it's like a weekly podcast. So you guys should join us. We do lots of Q&As. Whatever you guys want to listen to, we'll make it up. So
lots of Liga MX, something that Cesar and I 5 years ago were like, there's no one talking about it. And
cool. You know what? It's awesome because Tom is in Mexico. So he gets to go to the game. So it's kind of more like, hey, talking about your experience, what you see at the game. So it's pretty cool.
Not to be confused with Mr. Tom Marshall, it's Tom Harrison, for those of you guys who don't know also. So Mr. Tom Harrison, great friend. He's also been associated here with Food Mex Nation and all that. So lots of cool content. Thank you so much for Cari for coming on. And then also plug in that Our Football podcast. So it's really awesome. All right, Cesar, I'm asking you to end it again. Give us, you're going to end the show and say goodbye to everybody and thanking them. Y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Cesar, take it away.
Yeah, so always a lot of stuff to keep an eye on when it comes to Mexican soccer. You got not only the women's U17 taking part in the semis of the World Cup. But you also got the femenil playoffs, which are currently happening, if I remember correctly. I think Chivas and America, the only femenil teams that are through. You got the Ascenso MX playoffs happening at the same time. For those who keep an eye on Tata Martino, the MLS playoffs are going on as well. We didn't even get a chance to talk about the Mexicans abroad, so always a lot of exciting stuff to talk about when it comes to Mexican soccer. And yeah, let's see what we talk about next week, because it just seems like there's just a never-ending supply of things to discuss. We haven't even discussed the Club World Cup. We haven't discussed. I don't know. I'm just going to keep on rambling. I'm going to keep on rambling if we continue this. So thank you all, and thank you all in the chat. Thank you, Kari. Thank you, Wiso. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Enough people that I've thanked right there. I don't care about the rest of you.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Another episode of the Mexican Soccer Show. Hasta la próxima.